We have a faulted Micro 800 simulator. This happens quite often, especially with the later versions of Connected Component Workbench. And it's not the fault per se of the software, it's actually a fault of the processor of the PC that you're using. And it seems kind of counterintuitive that the faster the PC, the better you think it would be. That's true in most cases. In this case, what happens is your laptop is likely clocking so fast that the Watchdog, if you were to highlight this and look for the information, it's going to tell you that it's exceeded the Watchdog timeout value. So what's happening is the program scan is supposed to take a certain amount of time, and they set a Watchdog timer inside the simulator PLC that looks to have that Watchdog fulfilled. However, because there are multiple CPUs in your laptop that is controlling it, it actually skips by it. It doesn't see it. It assumes there's a fault and it generates a fault. Now, normally what you do is you go into run program mode, back and forth a couple of times, and that usually clears it. But just as fast as you clear it, all too often it will come up again. So if it's doing this on a regular basis, it's very frustrating to understand and figure out why it's doing it and how to correct it. So I'm going to show you, it's not that difficult. You only need to get access to the task manager. So what you'll do, and when it faults out, you're going to hit Control Alt Delete, and it's going to ask you about the task manager. You're going to say yes. And when you're looking at the task manager, you'll see the programs that are running. You'll notice that the simulator is running by itself. Now I'm running Windows 11. Windows 10 is slightly different, but it's the same idea. This is not helpful at this point. You have to right click on the simulator and go into the details, and the page is going to change. It's going to give you some more information. So there we go, we've done that. Now we're going to scroll down to Microsoft the Micro 800 simulator, and again we're going to right click, only this time we're going to look for something called the set affinity. Now the processor affinity, basically it takes the number of CPUs that are in your laptop's processing chip, and I thought, well, a little background story, I thought I had a hex core, so okay, that means 6. So you'll see that we have CP0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I'm just going to turn those off. And at the first time I did this, that's what I did, and it worked a little bit and it started faulting out. What I didn't know was there's a scroll bar, and when I scrolled it down, it turned out I have 12 processors in my laptop. Holy moly. So when I turn those all off, that limits the access that the 800 simulator can use. The maximum they can use is 2. Now I could make it 1 if I want, but I don't want to jeopardize it, the actual running of it. So I selected 2, and on trial and error it seemed to work. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to close this. Now keep in mind, you have to have the simulator running first. You can't preset this, and every time you open up CCW, you're going to run into the same thing. There is no, to my knowledge, I haven't found a hotkey or some attribute that I can set in the 800 simulator. So it's just something you'll do as soon as you want to use a simulator. Turn it on, go into Task Manager, and reduce the number of affinity. Do not touch any other program, and if you're not sure what you're doing, by all means don't do anything. This is only for those who understand what it is we're trying to accomplish. So once you've done that, that should correct any fault issues, and I find that once I've done that, my simulator works just fine.